Good morning. Good morning. This is Jen Sugarmeyer, your host of Higher in Heels. Grab your coffee. We are live and we are talking today about comparing, which is a trap that I think probably most of us get in at some point. It's just a natural thing. But first, I want you to like, I want you to subscribe, or I would encourage you to like, I would encourage you to subscribe. I'd also encourage you to share this with your friends because this is what we're doing. We're getting intentional about our days in the morning. And ladies, I want you to feel empowered to go out and face the day. We're talking about things on the show that we struggle with, that all people struggle with, and how do we get through them? And feel free to write into the show and we can do some live coaching. But today, this week, we're talking about confidence because who doesn't want confidence? We already talked about how confidence is sexy. If you want to take your 10 to an 11, you want to take your 6 to a 9, doesn't matter. Get some confidence. We had a great talk about this yesterday. And today we're going to talk about comparing because words matter Wednesday. So we talk about words that are sabotaging us, and comparing, quite frankly, is sabotaging you from where you want to be. I did a race recently, and I started out, I was running with a friend of mine. It was a 5K, which is about 3.2 miles, 3.1 miles. And I was running with a buddy of mine. And at some point I said, I'm just going to go ahead because my legs, I have long legs. I'm not fast, but I have long legs. And, I just wanted to move them a little bit. And then at some point I thought, okay, well, let me push myself a little bit and just see how I can do. And there were people that were doing 10Ks. There were people that were doing half marathons. And so people started at different points during the race. I don't know when they started or which race people were doing for what. You maybe could tell if somebody was, going to the finish line or something that they weren't in your group if you just started. But nevertheless, I couldn't really tell because we were all really on the same track. And so as I'm going and I'm getting in my zone, I start noticing other people and where they're at. And I'll tell you what felt really good was when I was passing people. Oh, look, I'm faster than them. I'm faster than them. Yeah. There was this feeling of, whoo, look at my legs go. And then I also started to notice that there were people that were running significantly faster, or they appeared to be further ahead than me. Again, because the way the track was, sometimes you double backed and all this, and I don't know how far people are. Maybe I'm further than them and they just happen to be going faster than me at the moment. I had no idea. But I started comparing myself to others and looking around and focusing, ooh, that person, and ooh, that person, and ooh, that person. And something happened when I started to do this. And I actually noticed that I wasn't focused on my running and pushing myself and coaching myself, because while I was running, I would say things like, you go, Jen. You go, girl. You got this. Yeah, give it all you got. You got this. You can do it. You're amazing. And I would say all these self-affirmations. Honest to goodness, I'm not lying about this. I would coach myself through. But when I'm focused on somebody else and, ooh, look at how fast they're going. Look at how fast they're going. I wasn't able to coach myself. I wasn't focusing on go faster. You could push yourself just a little bit faster. You could do this. Yeah, just, or whatever I was saying. No, I was focused on other people because you can only have your attention in so many places. So I noticed that when I started to take my attention off of this coaching, the self-coaching that I was doing, that I wasn't as fast as when I was coaching myself. And I was only focused on where I was. Honest to goodness. And the truth is, not only do I not know where people were in their journey, but some people really trained for this. Yeah, I didn't. I mean, I go out and I run all the time. Shoot, you can't tell, but I'm in my sports bra now. I'm going to go run after this. Yeah, it's just a natural part of my life. But I am not a sprinter. I have never been a runner. I am a jogger. And I'm not training for like I don't even know if my body has the ability to go that fast. I used to be able to run faster, and the older I get, the harder it is on my body. And some of these, were kids, and yeah, I used to be able to run that way, but I can't anymore. And quite frankly, ever since COVID started, I've been doing a lot of miles. I do about 7 to 8 miles at minimum a day. And I've noticed my hip flexor really pains me. And I keep thinking, gosh, am I going to have to get this replaced at some point? And so, do I even want to put that amount of stress and strain on my body? Yeah, I don't think so. In fact, that's why a lot of my jogs or runs or whatever you want to call them, I I run for half and then I walk the rest. And sometimes I'm good with just walking. Maybe it's just such a nice day and I want to enjoy the weather. And so I just walk and that's that. But when I got into this comparison mode, I noticed so many changes. Again, it felt really good when I was like, oh, yeah, passing all these people. This feels good. And then when I started to compare myself to people that were faster, I actually started to slow down because I wasn't focused on my own self coaching. And do I really even want to be as fast as they are? Can my body even keep up? It's natural for us to compare. When we're born, what's some of the first questions that people ask? Oh, what size was your baby? I mean, so okay, Jen Sugarmeyer was, I think, 22 inches long, 21, 22 inches long, like super long baby. Shocking since I'm 6'1" now. So I came out of the womb and I was like walking, not a true statement, but I was really long. And I weighed 9.8 ounces, 10.3, 9.8, 9.8 ounces. So yeah. In many respects, they would say, wow, that's a big baby. That's a long baby. What are they comparing me to? The average. Yeah, that's it. Oh, you have a 10-pound, almost a 10-pound baby. Ooh, wow, that's a big baby. Ooh, that must have, you had it naturally. Okay, yeah, sorry, mom. We start out in the world and we're comparing. We're always looking at, okay, well, I want to be the first in the race. I want to be this. And so we're baselining things and comparing ourselves to others. And, the teacher may call out and say, who got the best grade or whatever. And so we know that Jimmy is the smartest in math or whatever it is. Gosh, my eye is watering. Whatever it is, we're comparing. But what happens? Yeah, so when I was running, it put me more into this state of suffering because it didn't feel good. I wanted to be first. I don't know why, but in my mind, I got wrapped up. When I was running with my buddy, I didn't think about that. I was just having a good time. And then when I got into the solo sport of running or fast jogging or whatever I'm doing, I started to get competitive and I compared myself to these others and I said, man, I want what I think they're going to have. And I got jealous. Oof, there's that jealousy thing. And jealousy is a state of suffering. I think next week we're going to talk about what is suffering so that we truly understand what it is. But suffering is not a place that we want to be. It's like we're trying to claw our way out of it. Like, oh, I don't want to be here. Put me into a beautiful state. I just want to be happy. And when I was running, I'm sorry, oh, my eyes are just watering. And when I was running with my friend, I was in a happy state. And when I started to want what other people had, I'm like, oh, I'm not going fast enough. I'm not this enough. I'm not that enough. Yeah. How many of us struggle from the not enough syndrome? I think most of us do. I'm like full on crying. I think it's because my fan is going on and it's just drying my eyes out or something or whatever. Anyway, sorry about that. But we compare and then we automatically get into this state of suffering. And it is the last place that we intend. Look at me. I'm turning into, you can now see my makeup. Oh my gosh, this is so amazing. See what I look like by the end of this. I'm going to look like Gene Simmons from Kiss. That's okay. It's life. I'm here for it. Boy, you can tell. Look, did you know this was a beauty commercial? Makeup on, makeup off. That's what this has turned into. But this idea of comparing, if we truly break it down, it's that we're jealous of something. We want what someone else has, which means that we are telling our brains that we are lacking something. And when we are lacking something, we're not enough. There's not enough of it. That's the worst feeling. So many of us, I know for myself, just the not enough syndrome. I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not skinny enough. I'm not this enough. I'm not that successful enough. All the enough things. So how do we combat this? How do we combat this comparing? Yeah. It's looking at just like when I was running and I said, you know what? I don't care what these other people are doing. In fact, they may have been running for their entire life as marathon trained runners. And Jen Sugarmeyer is not a marathon trained runner. And quite frankly, I don't want to be a marathon trained runner. I don't want to put that stress on my body. I don't have time to go run 26 miles. We make time for what is important to us. And I don't have the desire to do that right now in my life. Maybe at some point I decide that, yes, I want to train for a marathon, but right now that's not it. So why, if somebody's out there running 26 miles a day, would I even put myself in a category with them? That's not fair. It's not fair to me. And they've been doing this for so long. They've earned the right to be that fast. Why do I think that I can just show up and earn that right to be in the same category when they've trained for something differently than I have? I mean, there are those people that can just show up and do well. We remember those kids in math class that didn't study and they just show up and they get the A. Okay, there are those cases. But many of us, especially if we struggle from some kind of disability or something like dyslexia or, some kind of learning disorder. Yeah. I mean, disability, then we have to try a lot harder. And it's just how it is. When we focus in our own lane, when we stay here, y'all, that's when we keep ourselves from going in a state of suffering. I have a massive clock on my back. So I have a huge back tattoo. It goes from my crack up to about here. And I have a clock that's about this big. And it symbolizes one day, 1 hour, 1 minute, 1 second at a time. Life is literally just 1 minute at a time because you never know what's going to come in and change your life, change your world. And so we go through life and we are literally taking just one step in front of each other. And yeah, we can have goals, we can put things out there, but we aren't living in the future and we're not living in the past. The only thing we're doing now is living right here. And the only reason we should be looking back is to see how far we've come. And it's just pushing ourselves a little bit further. If we say, okay, I want to be that marathon runner. I don't just start out today, go out and run 26 miles. My body is not going to respond to that. But if you see marathon runners, I had a boss that used to go out and run 100 miles. He was like, yeah, when I was done, my toenails would fall off. They were black and blue. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, there's no way. There's no way. I get to around 20 miles and my body's like, you're done, chick. So if I try to just go run willy-nilly 26 miles, I'm not going to be able to do it. I have to train up to it. So if I go out there with a bunch of individuals that have already been doing that and I tried to compare myself to that, it doesn't even make sense because my body doesn't have time to do it. So why am I even worried about what they're doing? Because it's all about me getting to the end, to the finish line. Can I, Jen Sugarmeyer, get there? I already know that they can. They've been training for it. What about you, chick? Yeah. So what do? You don't go start out doing 26 miles the first day. By the way, I had no idea I was going to be talking about running the whole time. I'm so inspired to go run after this. I had no idea, to be honest. It just happened. But you start the first day and you say, okay, I'm going to do 5 miles. Okay. Maybe less. Maybe you start with 3. Okay. How does 3 miles? And you do 3 miles for a couple of days and you get comfortable with it. And then you push it and you say, okay, let's do 4. All right, let's do 6. Let's see if I can do maybe 8. All right, I'm going to push myself. How about 11? And you work your way up. You don't go from I'm not a runner or I run a few miles at a time to I run 26. It is one step at a time. And you look back to see how far you've come. And if you've given yourself the right amount of time, then when that race is ready and you have to run 26 miles, then you've prepared your body along the way. This game of life, we all have different journeys. When we see people's success, it's that iceberg. Have you heard of the iceberg theory? It's where you only see, like, here's the water. And an iceberg, you just see the tip coming out. But under the water, there's this massive thing happening under. And this is your whole journey. This is the journey. And they use the iceberg in so many different ways to they use it all the time, like in the workplace, like this is the product, but this is all the work that's being done behind the scenes, same thing. But we only see the success or failures. I mean, maybe they're on air as well. But typically we see these success stories and we think, wow, it's going to be so easy to just go grab that because we only see that portion of it. But the truth is, what was under the iceberg that allowed us, that took us to that point? So why are we comparing ourselves to other successes when we have no idea what it took them to get there? I love Ellen DeGeneres' story. And it took her 6 years. She made the decision, I will be a comedian. I will be on Johnny Carson. And she worked for that for 6 years until she finally got on a show. She didn't just appear there. Yeah, we may see Ellen on the Johnny Carson show and think, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I'm going to do that. I should be. And comparing yourself, why am I not on the Johnny Carson show? But did you know for the last 6 years that she's been maybe making very little money and doing all the things that she thought would position herself well in order to be considered to be on the show? And all the things that she gave up and eating crackers and tuna fish because she's saving money and all the things. I have no idea. I'm making this up at this point. But there are tons of things that are happening under the iceberg. So if we're comparing ourselves, it's not fair. So we need to break out of this mode because it puts us into suffering. It's not fair to ourselves. It is slowing ourselves down. It's putting us in a state of suffering. So focus on one step at a time, 1 minute at a time, 1 second at a time, just like Jen's big old tattoo that she has on her back. I don't know how some of these things happen in my life. But just compare yourself to yourself. When you know better, do better. That's it. One betterment at a time. one step, one step. And then you'll look back and you'll say, wow, I can't believe I'm on the Johnny Carson show after 6 years. Holy smokes. Yes, Ellen. Yes, Ellen. Yes. So make sure you subscribe. We are here every day at 6 a.m. talking about powerful topics so that you can take them out into the world and you can be the best version of yourself, so that you can go kick butt, so you can go into your job with confidence, so you can go build that business, so that you can have that family, so you can get that dating life, so you can do whatever it is that you want to do and you feel empowered because you listen to Jen Sugarmeyer at 6 a.m. What are we doing? We're coming up. We want the world to know, we're gonna let it show. That's right. Come on, ladies. Yeah, we're coming up. We want the world to know, we're gonna let it show. I will see you here tomorrow. Make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and you can find us on higheranheels.com. Until then, have a beautiful day.